Welcome back to EPIC46 with Intel, sponsored by Asus, Republica Gamers, Overclockers, and XP Pro Eyewear. Apologies for an extended delay, but we had quite a lot of games in the upper bracket go the full distance, and we are now sitting in the upper bracket final, the culmination of all that work between TSE and Team Coalesce.
Yeah, it's been a while, man, and it's partly to do with a few delays here and there. But however, to be honest, the two maps to decide the upper finalists were both going to Game 3 with very, very close games. I have no idea how close it could be, but it really was ridiculous. Like, both teams, both matches were looking like grand final tier close levels of games. It was amazing to watch. And with that, you've got your two teams that are guaranteed top 3 at least, right? And TSE, Team Coalesce, they are such formidable teams. I think I love the storyline about this team is how they're different in generations as well. TSE are mostly of the core of several multi-time Epic Line champions in the past. They've been around for quite a while nowadays. And Coalesce are the newer generation, formerly the Aconite roster, coming in to be picked up by Team Coalesce into this next Epic and are now trying to gun for that next grand final spot. With the vetoes in, you got Abyss, Haven, Sunset of the maps here. Abyss starting off. We're starting with Abyss. We're starting with Abyss.
To the first game we casted today between Team Control and, who was it? La Booze Booze, or whatever their name is, I forget.
La Booze Booze.
La Booze Booze. And we saw a very different style than I think what we were used to, at least throughout the majority of Epic. It felt very tactical, very controlled, and we saw Team Control, use that to their advantage. Perhaps it didn't really carry over into their following game versus TSE, who TSE beat Team Control, knocking them now down to lower bracket. So it'll be interesting to see what TSE is going to bring to this, and perhaps also what Team Coalesce is going to bring.
Yeah, there's quite a few question marks about the composition that we could see from either of these teams. Double duelist is really common amongst teams like TSE. Coalesce, generally speaking, they like to run a much more structured comp. They're very map control heavy. They really enjoy running stuff like the double controller. They really like running careful, synergized compositions. And I'm curious if we're going to be seeing something different from Coalesce. And we are. It's that Joak on Yoru. It is. Joak Yoru is real. We are seeing it for the first time here at Epic. Usually is the anchor luck and was recently off-rolling for Corrode when playing that KO. But this Coalesce lineup here for Agents looks ridiculous to me. If this is actually what it's going to be, I would be shocked because Misu not being on Waylay would be kind of insane to me. But no, not going to be the case. It will be Misu on that Waylay. And aside from that, the rest of the comp is pretty standard here for Coalesce. They're going to be running the DRX comp with the Sova, Yoru Waylay, and Cypher Omen together. And for TSE, it's going to be a veto coming out from Bully. I know TSE have run the veto previously in their Abyss games with decent amounts of success. So to see this come back is really exciting. Veto has had a lot of appearances on Abyss. We've seen the veto be played before on this map, and unfortunately for them, not successful in that moment. But this time TSE, they're a different breed. They're a very, very strong team, contenders to really win this entire tournament. If you were to be the betting man to put Coalesce or TSE, I would say TSE are, on paper, the more successful, more well-known team. But Coalesce are a band of brothers who are reigning champions, who have had a really inspirational kind of story in the past, just being a bunch of friends just coming together, getting really, really strong, bringing in some friends from across the continent to bring in players like Misu and Joak, who aren't even from the UK, born and bred, having to come over from their home countries to play with them. And not only that, but find great success with their team, enough to get signed by an organization and playing now at Epic Land again for another chance to bring the back-to-back.
Very much so, and I think, as you highlighted, the double initiator from the side of TSE, I think we're going to see a similar style to what we've already seen today with the Waylay. It seems like these two initiators are going to work their hardest to try and initiate this Waylay to go in, take these frags, take the control of sites that they need to. And perhaps even, well, if they're starting on defense, then it might be to lead these retakes. But I suppose we'll just have to see how this kind of starts to play out as we go into round one. Team Coalesce, two duelists, Omen, Cypher, Sova. to me, it sounds like they're maybe wanting to frag out, not necessarily worry too much, but they've got that Omen to teleport, they've got Cypher for intel, they've got Sova to help enable these two duelists, so I guess it's going to see who is going to get the better out of this tactical duel. Whilst Miso takes the high ground, Waddles the Pig takes the first kill of this round, Miso finding Luca to rebalance the man count.
Waddles has not been taken account for. No extension on the trade, and so Waddles has been left completely untouched. There is no way at the opening round here of a match this caliber we'll see an ace. Willie G will steal it from Waddles. But that being said, absolutely insane play from Waddles to stand his ground, stay around backside. And I think Coalesce made a bit of a small error not really committing to go for that trade. Misu was taking out from the top site and having nobody really fully control that reswing and hold that part of the map ends up being to their demise. He was caught off from bridge, no one was covering the plant, no one was getting ready for a quick response trade, no one was even playing with Joak on the Yoru, and it led to a big mistake being made from Coalesce, and that gave TSE, honestly, a very lax and easy round. Waddles, more often than not, got pretty easy kills to join in.
Yeah, I have to agree, and now I think Coalesce, this is a minor setback, and where they were going to go up towards mid, they've been shunted out by the use of utility there, and they've decided to try their luck elsewhere, moving around to the left side of the map and going towards B. With the Omen leading the way, Bully is more than ready for this and finds one onto Bubs and is going for a 2.
Yeah, clean pre-fire from Bully. Aim checking out at the moment. He is really smacking down on all of these Coalesce members. It's the third for Bully. Yanto on the flank too. Hayden left on his lonesome. And with that scan, just off timing that hideaway peek, it's going to be a pretty clean round for TSE. Bully very close to dying, but getting away with it and keeping that Bulldog in his hands with good money here for TSE.
That was good. Like, Bully showed the trigger discipline needed. He wasn't overreacting, he wasn't overspraying, and he was just allowing Team Coalesce seemingly just to walk into his gun sights. And like you said, they tried to catch him out. He managed to get away and retain his life, retain his weaponry, and still find a third kill on a round. It's seemingly very solid opening from TSE on this defensive half.
Yeah, this time now, it's around the matters for Coalesce. Good to find the momentum being placed on this. It could be a very one-sided win if this is not succeeded from Coalesce. You can see Misu not with the ideal weaponry here that you'd really hope from the duelist of Coalesce, but still a very lethal shooter. He has been the single strongest asset of Coalesce from the very beginning. Not a single series for his team without being match MVP.
Very much so, but we've got to see whether or not they can start to regain this sort of momentum and start whether or not Misu taking his first engagement onto Waddles. You've got Willie G as well, lurking around that A site, backs off, but still wanting to apply that pressure onto the A site.
Yanto, though, has a really good angle here, but he's overstayed his welcome a little bit. Miso catches out that on the lurk alongside two other members. They're going to re-pivot round back onto A, and Willie G is trying to get some early picks before, really, he's about to become the next victim. The recall there, the Outlaw damage is significant here, and he still will die, but does get loads of damage down. Enough to maybe make this a winnable scenario here for TSE.
Hayden going for the plant on Team Coalesce, first plant of this series. And now it's down to the last two members of TSE to turn and see whether or not they can retake it. You've got Cypher on very low health, and now Lucas trying to see whether or not they can catch a player out. Oh. Narrowly misses, switches to sidearm, and now you've got choices here from TSE in terms of how they're going to want to approach this. Bully going up onto the high ground. Joak, I think, is not aware and is caught out. Now it's a 2v2, but time's starting to tick away. TSE are going to have to make a decision there about how they want to go about this.
They've got good util.
Yeah, utility's just been deployed, and Bully wants to body block and go for it.
Time is low. Miso's also low, and Bully just goes out on his own in a 1v2. Time very low, but enough for TSE to still get the defuse. A devastating loss for Coalesce. You had the moment, but I think Joak was just alone there, not really able to cover all of his angles. Bully on that late push, 6-0 this map so far.
That was really good from the pair of them, from Luca and Bully. The deployment of that smoke bubble, which obviously obscure the defuse, and then Bully just stepping up, putting his body on the line and ready to move forward and taking the fights to the remaining two players of TSE. Let's not forget the first pick of that retake he got from up on high. It was really, really good play from him.
Yeah, recovery is needed here for Coalesce. This next round is going to be much more difficult than the next coming up, as TSE will soon start to be swimming in cash. Financials are going to be a difficult challenge to overcome later on. Guardian again in the hands of Misu. With that drone scouting him out. Spotted. Out comes that light speed from Willie G, but Joak, well positioned with this TP gate crash, now has a big chance to gain more space, and that's another timing from Waddles, not in his favor. Ianto, though! How do you get away with something like that? What kind of double kill can you expect from something like that? The Vandal spray pattern nerfs really are being in his favor, but Joak's not letting that change the fate for his team. A third kill for him, Bully down. It's a 2 versus 2 with Plant in the hands. Both players from TSE on opposite corners of the map. Isolations are the goal here for Coalesce.
Now, Bully isn't alive, but Ianto is just as deadly, and you've still got the other members of TSE wanting to move forward, and I think Luca is caught out from Joak, and now Ianto finds his one, so it's Joak ace to save this.
It's not planted for him. This is bad. It's not planted for him. Joak is going to be forced to reveal his position. Ianto is capable of sticking, but Joak, excellent timing of the discipline, but it's not enough to stop the ace from Ianto. It's 4 for TSE. Coalesce, they were just there. They tripped at the finish line.
Unideal, and I didn't even clock that it was a battle of who is going to get the ace first. I didn't even realize that. But unfortunate there from Joak that he came up against Ianto. I think maybe any other agent there that doesn't have that utility to kind of exactly know where his opponent's coming from. And to be fair, Ianto nearly messed up his initial engagement there. You know, the spray going wide and Joak being able to retract. There was an opportunity there, but sadly it went wanting. And now TSE are in really good stead for this opening defense.
Misu, good on the discipline against Willie G. Taking him down, the face of this team.
Now this is now this is the momentum that they have to keep going forward, though. They've got their one pick from the Jewelers from Miso, their star player, like you said. Now they've just got to carry and convert this and keep this momentum going.
Unscanned. Ianto trying to break this drone for his teammate, and in fact that actually baits out the positioning of the corner here from Waddles. He's not going to be spotted out, and they're going to have to clear him manually. Out comes the converging paths. Luca is not checked. Ianto on bridge will spray off the cross, and TSE have no mercy with this duo. Ianto beaten and bruised, but still holding his gun like he's a well-oiled machine.
Vito coming around from middle, maybe looking to have a very late flank on there just to really secure this and box Joak in. If anything, Joak might just reverse and wander back into the eyes of this Vito player. It's not looking ideal. Going to go 5-0 in this opening map. Joak good for 1, and Ianto's low health. And this Vito player is choosing not to go for a flank, is instead choosing to go back the long way around to reinforce his team on A.
Joak had a good opportunity there. He knew how he was going to play that, and he played it well, but unfortunately, TSE a bit too privy to that idea. Early as well, not going for that flank, instead opting to play with his team and use that spike presence on the site to stick around with his teammates on the cross.
Team Coalesce unhappy, I suppose, with how these first 5 rounds have gone. And I think, to be frank, only 1 or 2 of them were considered close. TSE seem very comfortably in control of this defensive half so far.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a struggle of dealing with the response coming in on the retake, and on top of that, I think crosses are just a bit of an issue here. Not enough utility to be able to be used to make that cross possibility gone. On top of that, they made a mistake of not clearing Luca with that drone. That was one massive error that ended up making a lot of problems happen here for Coalesce. And I don't think I saw much smokes being put down. Ianto was free to roam on bridge. There was all of them just clubbed up together and still being a little hesitant, sticking around that corner instead of trying to run out and use much movement. It was a rough scenario there, and I think that was one example that we've seen quite a few times. And on top of that, not really able to find those last few lurking players. It's been common now for TSE to kind of go round, separate, and have a pincer maneuver flank if it's a 2-on-2, for example. Or even if they have numbers over in general, they'll always have somebody lurking in the shadows behind the less fortunate player. But I think it's been something that Coalesce have not been able to fully clock just yet. I need to find a way to use that momentum to shift that perspective and make that TSE plan less useful. I think part of that may have to do with just doubling up when you're going into less numbered fights.
It could be, yeah, as TSE sort of spreading out their forces whilst Team Coalesce seemingly want to secure this mid-pressure.
Oh, goodness me, Waddles.
Joak caught out as he's trying to go for a teleport, but Misu's good for one and rebalances his man count in hit. And now Pubs and I assume Misu's actually backed off, and I think they were trying to fish for more. And
yeah, very stacked here. Look at this cross made from Bully. He's even able to escape through the crossfade with his position here. Wait, never mind, maybe not. Bully has to be forced to commit because of the corner that he's in, and he will get caught out by Bubs. 2-on-2. TSE now. Bit of a struggle moment. You do have Willie G. Surely he's going to be teched up. You got checked by the drone, 100% spotted there.
yeah, it must have been.
Seen on the minimap, corner checked. You've got the light speed and that slow still in his arsenal. But he's waiting again for Luca on this flank.
Yeah.
It's the same maneuver again. Can Coalesce adapt this time?
I don't even know if they have kind of realised this. You've got one of those players from Coalesce.
We
Like,
need some awareness. Look at this
Bubs.
again. The same deal.
There's
One
no-
just completely unable to check for that member. Mispositioning from Coalesce is backfiring massively. Bubs doesn't have a strong weapon for this. The fake and the spam from Luca will cause so much pressure, too much for the IGL of Coalesce. It's 6-0. TSE are adding more fire to the flames with some lead in the corpses of their enemies here, making Coalesce, reigning champions, look like kids in a playground against the pros.
It's not a good look so far from Team Coalesce. This has been rough stuff, and you know, not having that cover on that part, that was a winnable situation as well. The health advantage was in the favour of TSE, granted, fair enough, but Bubs not watching that flanking manoeuvre, unideal, really unideal from the side of Team Coalesce.
Yeah, it's a positioning issue from Coalesce. Maybe something to do with communication as well. They have good usage of utility. They have something like the Hunter's Fury that they could use onto it. But they chose to play on site, and Hayden put himself in a position that made him vulnerable. And granted, maybe it would have been a bit more difficult to stay where you are, to find the one who's in that back area. But wouldn't it be better to just try and target somebody through long? Wouldn't it be better to cover something else? I don't know. But into this next round, Waddles with an operator, looking more audacious than we've seen recently.
I think they've been galvanised here, the members of TSE. Maybe they're starting trying to have these
they're trapped.
very aggressive defense style, and like you say, they've been boxed into middle, bar one player from Team Coalesce. All of them are stuck in this midsection of the map.
Coalesce are in trouble. They're in big trouble here. They're in a cage.
They've got to pick a direction and try and force something here.
The fly's trapped in the spider's nest here, and Ianto is the first to catch that prey. Misu gone. Dimensional Drift from Joak confirming 2 members on the side of Bean. You've also got 1 flanking here on Cypher that could make some value, but not if Bully is changing the numbers here on his own without that presence. 2 down. Evolution popped here from Bully to just nail in that coffin for Coalesce. Joak can't even break the dot with a shot, though. Onto Bully. Eliminates him swiftly, and Ianto will take care of Joak and Miso. 7-0 for TSE. This is a slaughter.
It's not, I think, at all what we were necessarily expecting here. Bearing in mind, both teams going off of 2-1s. Maybe this is down to a matter of mental. Both these teams, like we said at the start of the cast, was they were coming off of extended 2-1 series and now being thrown into the frying pan of this matchup as well. It seems that TSE aren't breaking a sweat, and maybe Team Coalesce are starting to crumble around the edges a bit.
Yeah. I think the storyline with this matchup particularly is TSE, the veteran men, here to teach the boys of Coalesce what it's like to really be at the top of Epic Land. You know, unfortunately, with them not being present in Summer Epic, Coalesce didn't really have to deal with them back when they were Aconite, but now that the big boys are back in town, they've got to back up their rep as reigning champions. And so far, the veteran multi-time champions and so many members in this team, if not all of them, having won Epic at least once previously, showing why they're there. More aggression, another engage coming in. Misu, though, uncovered, uncalled for, unable to do anything about it. But Miso and Hayden will respond in kind, getting 3 and giving Coalesce 1 number advantage. This post plant has to be done. It needs to be something here from Coalesce. If this is lost, I have no clue how they will recover. This could be an absolute stomp if this is lost. But Coalesce are a team with strong mental. They don't give up hope. They're a band of brothers who stuck around for a reason.
Luca looking to engage from up on high. I'm not sure if they're aware of Hayden here, and judging by the positioning, it's gone on this check. Miso and Bubs looking to go up.
Oh, goodness. What?
Good cover by Hayden. Nearly could have gone slightly pear-shaped here, but Team Coalesce managed to get their first round win on the board, breaking, at least maybe temporarily stalling this TSE side that has otherwise looked unstoppable. It's good form. It's showing, like you said, at least some form of mental resilience. It shows that Team Coalesce aren't ready to just completely throw in the towel. They made that good presto onto A. They capitalised on the first pick that they've got, which I think is the first time they've done it, is that they've got their kill, established where they want to go, and really just sort of hit the throttle and just gone for it.
Coalesce making a scratch on the otherwise impermeable armor here that TSE have formed for themselves in this match so far. Is this the momentum breaker that Coalesce need? They've had tremendous comebacks before. They've suffered comebacks before. This time they need to be on the winning side.
Team Coalesce weighing up their options here. 3 in mid, 1 on right, 1 on the left. And you would imagine, as this Sova ult comes in, trying to catch out Ayanto, only does about half the health needed. But also that KO, very heavily wounded as well. So whilst Team Coalesce are a man down, they've got some health advantages here. TSE basically being 4 players in terms of health, as Yanto wanting to make the most of what health he's got left, trying to tag up Joak, but Bubs also trying to tackle from long range maybe. Oh no, he's on a drone. Joak is trying to kill him.
Bully TPing back into sight, audible I believe here for Coalesce, but Miso completely unaware, not ready for Bully to peek out from the top of the smoke. And with that converging paths being unleashed, the unleashing of power coming out from Bully, trying to use that interceptor alongside the pressure of the manual of the gun here to fight more. Hayden will take him down, but Waddles will trade. It's up to Bubs, who has done things like this before, but against TSE, there's only so much you can do. A great effort nonetheless here. TSE, though, don't believe in fairy tales. They'll make it 8-1.
Unfortunate there, and I think there was a moment with Coalesce that after they dropped that Sova ult, maybe they should have tried to take that fight to Ayanto, get another kill on the board. Sure, it's risky, especially with the skill that TSE are currently displaying, but you've got to take some risks now. You're 8-1, well, you were 7-1 down, now you're 8-1. You've got to question whether or not you've got to take these risky gunfights against the guns of TSE and just hope. Also, when Bully got that pick on during the execute, he wasn't even necessarily aiming at the player he killed. It was just the timing as he pushed into the smoke. But it just goes to show the quality of player as Bully is, unafraid to take these risks and knowing what he has to do with pushing into the smoke and getting the kills that's needed.
Bully oftentimes been seen as an unsung hero for TSE when they play around it. Oftentimes the spotlight is on players like Yanto and Will. But this time Bully able to have his own spotlight, playing absolute perfection on this veto. Look at this. Excellent usage of this crossfade to get away. It's beautiful from Bully, and he's not got any ounce of respect here for Coalesce. Bubs, alone with the Guardian alongside Hayden. What can they really do? Interceptor thrown out to slow down any kind of utility they wish to use to get more information here. Bully up top, assuming that someone's going to be under. Bubs using good positioning here to catch Yanto on his own. Are they going to be theorizing another flank presence? Will again, look at Will. He's also choosing to move around too. Is this the surprise that TSE are going to be inflicting again? I've seen deja vu here. It can't happen again. Not a third time, Coalesce.
The Coalesce at least have an even body count, but they're getting utiled out here. Hayden having to hold this cross, and Willie G takes out Bubs. It's all up to Hayden. And he grabs that one onto Willie G. It's all in 1v1.
Stuck in the corner. High. Hayden, surely. Timing of the jump, excellent from Hayden. It's done, a 1v2-1. Coalesce still got some of that fire in them. 2 beautiful kills from Hayden. I think a little bit of a misplay there from Willie as well. You have to notice that the use of the light speed was timed really poorly. Not able to have his teammate back him up off of that trade. It was a big error there from TSE. A little bit of trolling, people like to say. Yeah. I think, regardless of that, it was a good effort, good use of utility. But had he had that refract, it would have been a lot safer for him to just have that info and just leave. because he just made himself a sitting duck off the light speed timing.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, that the end of that sort of movement ability there, you don't have your gun out immediately, so you're kind of left just there. Maybe it would have been better for him to go around the corner slightly and then force Hayden to look that way, whilst Luca comes around and tries to sort of weigh in onto this argument against Hayden. But nevertheless, we move on to our 11th round, and TSE is still comfortably in control, and it looks like Team Coalesce wants to just make a really big statement, execute onto the side of B. And here we go with Misu, who's immediately shut down by Bully. Luca finds the second one, and just the members of Team Coalesce can't find anything to get working. Bubs is only good for one before Bully, the stalwart, is eventually brought down, but numbers and health advantage in the favour of TSE. And the trade game here inevitably is going to go down towards TSE, who, you know, stymied that initial push off of Team Coalesce and removed two of their players immediately, and just Team Coalesce couldn't find anything afterwards.
Yeah, not fully sure on whether or not it was a read from TSE or a misplay from Coalesce. The convergent paths used there from Misu, just off on the left, not catching Bully's position on the top of the box. And granted, maybe you wouldn't want to fully cover for that, but that small misplay of that led to Bully having free reign over all of Coalesce there, getting a free pick, backing off, getting another kill, letting his team get info and have that confidence to flood with numbers advantage. It's a difficult scenario for Coalesce to deal with.
Once again, Team Coalesce may be looking to go through this middle, but we got to remember that a few rounds prior where they overcommitted to mid and they got stuck.
Yeah, the ults here as well for Coalesce, for TSE, sorry, are really good. You've got the null command for the retake, Astral Divide, Hunter's Fury to catch anybody out of any close angles to flush out an aggressive push. Ianto is actually brilliantly positioned here to throw that Hunter's Fury right now if they catch out this information. They haven't got as secure info there, but that scan is going to secure this. And is Ianto going to use Hunter's Fury? Doesn't seem like it. Now he's going to use it. Joak popping out that Dimensional Drift, checking and scouting for many people. 2 spotted at minimum. Ianto, though, will catch Hayden, and that's 1 member down. Joak alongside Misu on the dash will get scanned, but Waddle's timing is just perfect for the trade here from TSE. On his own, a disaster, but with his friends with him, it is perfection of a distraction. A great diversion for the rest of his team to strike. And it's TSE again to mop the floor with the reigning champions of Epic LAN.
I think Joak had an idea that Waddles was up there, but just with that being masked by that smoke, was unable to pinpoint exactly where they were, and then he had other pressing matters to go to. Like you said, Waddles' timing was near pitch perfect as they come down, and the counter-attack happens for the rest of TSE.
Yeah.
Now, with this side swap, can TSE display the exact same dominance that they have in defense as they can do on attack? And they kind of close this out in 3, to be honest, because it's feeling that way at the moment. This feels like a complete wash from Team Coalesce.
This needs to be a full reset here for Coalesce and try and flip the script. A decent composition defensively, strong on the rotations, but momentum in the mental is really important. I think as well what's scary about this composition is the duality of both Bully and Will able to play together on those entryways. You've got the crossfade away, can TP through onto the site, and this scan here is just excellent from Coalesce. 2 will go down, Joak and Misu get 2 respectively, and that is a fantastic mid pistol exec.
I really think that, yeah, I think that's a good statement piece there from Coalesce, being like, all right, let's go aggressive, let's try and bring the fight to them before they can get rolling. And finding those 2 picks, especially with Trill Duelists, them doing their jobs, I think it's going to help galvanise this Coalesce team. Bully looking for more, Joak very swiftly cutting him down. Waddles knows trying to go for a backup, finds Joak and is going for 2.
Dear. What a slow trade.
Sloppy work, I think, from those 2 members of Team Coalesce there. They could have easily got one. Ianto falls, so Waddles now left on his own over in B. It's going to make something of this, I suppose. Only half health, so you can't really see him winning this out. But stranger things have happened.
Does have a sheriff in hand. He manages to isolate and make these 1v1s, which exactly is his goal here. Look, he's creeping up, trying to find people. Hayden and Bubs together will catch him out just the right time. That'll be the round for Coalesce. Good to know that their confidence isn't knocked too heavily here. Individually, still looking good. Trade a little bit sloppy there with Bully. Miso maybe swinging a little bit quicker there off of the trade could have been exactly what they needed, but it was still the round for Coalesce, courtesy of Misu and that excellent scan from Hayden.
Yeah, very much so.
And enable him to just be free real estate. It's perfect there. But there's a lot more to go. Pistol round 1, a better economy now for their hands. If they get this done, a return to form is possible.
Now, if you're TSE, do you kind of let this just go through the wayside, or do you stick with the pistols? I'd imagine you're going to stick with the pistols here. Let Team Coalesce just work their way through. If you can rob some guns, excellent. But I imagine that the members of TSE are going to let this go forward, essentially, and let Team Coalesce do whatever they want. And if TSE can play spoiler, which I think they can more effectively than not do, but we just got to see how they want to approach this, and they're being cautious. I think maybe that early aggression displayed by Team Coalesce being read and respected, as they don't want to commit too early to either site.
Drag with a good hecklish angle there with the Outlaw covering any peek coming out. But honestly, I don't think that's the goal you should be looking for if they're on an eco round, to be honest. I don't think anybody wanted to go long range unless, never mind, you know what, I'm going to lie. I'm just going to spread misinformation because you can see Luca here ready to play some Mewtwo and potentially peek off of this same timed engage here from TSE. And Ianto catches Misu with his pants down, only a Bucky in hand, unable to do anything about it. And Joak is the real boogeyman here with that Outlaw, putting so much pressure, firing the warning shots, and making TSE flee for another option.
I think it's a good read by TSE, wanting to see their, B seems quite secure, that's quite locked down. Let's go and see what pressure we can emit over on mid, and maybe transferring back over to A. I don't think they're sweating too much, to be fair. 30 seconds on the clock, so time is running out, so they're starting to pick up the pace here, and I think they might just try and commit onto A. Utility coming out to obscure line of sight, and Bubs catching Willie G. Very nice indeed. Waddles looking up on high, and you've got a flank from the veto here from TSE. Whether or not anything can come of it, Hayden taking out Waddles, it's 2v4.
All they have to do is live and deny the plant. That's all they have to do. Bully applying pressure. 5 seconds, no time for Bully. He's going to hop off the map, and that's the round for Coalesce. He gave Muso an orb. You got to be doing that, Bully. You gave him an orb.
Unideal, but I think I think at that point I don't think TSE are particularly too ruffled now. They've got a bit more cash to work with, and whilst I don't think they're necessarily happy with how that went down, there was an opportunity there, but having the better weapons, Team Coalesce expectedly won that, and I think we would have drawn bigger questions if Coalesce somehow lost that round to TSE. But here, I think, is perhaps one of the first proper attacking rounds that we need to see from TSE, and kind of see whether or not they can redisplay their dominance of the and sort of regain the momentum of this match.
Out comes the no command. Heavy X-Sack. Oh, a small misstep there from Will. He's going to get hit by that stun, and so he's going to be slowed down slightly. What on earth is that shot? Come on! What kind of spray patterns allow you to do shenanigans like that, Will? Hayden will respond and grab 2, but the rest of TSE will full push of this momentum of the roulette shot landed there from Will through the smoke. I still can't believe that landed.
Massive kudos to Willie G there for sort of taking that initiative and getting it. Ianto goes to clean up that round. I'm unsure. I imagine they were unaware of Hayden hiding in that big bubble of smoke there in the middle of the site. But it just goes to show that TSE aren't necessarily worried about the plant, I don't think, as much.
Yeah.
Like, even in this entire match, we've only seen 6 spike plants. So it seems that both teams aren't as worried about objective play, per se, as we have seen in previous games during this entire tournament. And TSE are just... yeah, they're a class above. And a play like that from Willie G really is inspiring to see, especially like you said, that roulette table style of just dashing over, grabbing 2 without seemingly breaking a sweat. It was just unfortunate that they didn't really check for Hayden, but the rest of TSE were there to mop it up. As TSE want to go through mid seemingly, seeing what they could grab, all 5 of them lurking around. Sova peeling off to going and heading towards A, whilst the rest of TSE may be looking to establish some kind of play on towards B. Ianto using this drone, trying to establish who is knocking around A, maybe as a backup option. Willie G, as always, leading this charge, wanting to try and grab something early.
This is a very, very tempered round. Different pacing to what we've seen for quite a while here from both these teams. Smoking put down Ianto, firing some warning shots down. Look at this space that's been established here from Willie G. 1 may have fallen down for Bully, There's a good opportunity here for this plant to come through, and the Coalesce to really not be able to do anything here. Miso will catch the luck onto Waddles, and that's one big pick done. Now the rest of Coalesce are going to be rotating around. Still paranoid of this potential flank or mid lurk coming through. They haven't taken into account the Sova until that dart's revealed. And that's the confirmation that they're going to go into a full engage with no fear going into it. Out comes the engage. Out comes the paranoia from Bubs. Stun to suppress the fight. It's Willie G again with a collateral on the Phantom, but the rest of Coalesce respond, and it's enough for Misu to close it out. Seemed dire at first, but Misu's got that hope.
There was a potential hero play there from Willie G there, and like you said, it seems I think Coalesce did the right thing there, just shoving 4 members, just going, we just need to take these fights. Unideal that 2 of them got collaterals, but it played out in the end. They managed to win the gunfights. As much as you get a collateral, you can still only point your gun at one way, and there's 4 targets to pick from. So I think a good use from there from Coalesce too, and I think that catch onto, I believe it was Waddles that Miso caught, that lurk, just I think helped really tip the scales of Coalesce in their favour, losing that player completely unaware and for free.
Yeah, agreed.
Make me proud.
Both teams having their waylays convergent paths. This is an exciting prospect here. TSE with the inferior weaponry by a long shot here. Looking to maybe just farm some ultimates, going for just a quick close quarters engage. Bubs could be in a bit of trouble here because Willie G, audacious in nature, catches Bubs' feet, and that's caught him off guard. He will be stunned, and Misu will respond, gets 1 on the trade, and the convergent paths unleashed. Misu with a second, but a lot of damage done, courtesy of Luca on the pistol. Bully tagged up too. Hayden, perfectly timed response off of the flash, and it's a 4-3 person survival round for Coalesce as they will win it out. I think TSE, honestly, a little bit happy with that one. Bubs' position was very compromising there, trying to play inside the one way, but a little bit too far out. His little toe beans coming out and getting caught. But I think Misu's still firing up now as he starts to wake up and prove why he is the biggest bite in the barking team of Coalesce here.
Yeah, very much so. And we say Misu's got the biggest bite. He's not even necessarily the kill leader at the current. So with this current momentum that he's got on, the current form, I imagine he's going to go soaring through this leaderboard sooner rather than later.
Especially with the better weaponry now.
100%. But I think, yeah, Team Coalesce, there's still some ground to make up here, and they can't afford many more mistakes here. You know, one more mistake, it goes to TSE, they get to match points. So Coalesce still need to keep a level-headed attitude around this and not give away silly rounds. Joak catching Willie G off, and I think Willie G may be getting touched too greedy there, looking for that early engagement.
It's honestly, I think it's the other way around. Joak was ballsy there, going for his one and getting out. A good individual read there from him, and it pays off really good. The convergent path is now out, and Willie G, who's been playing really well in this match so far, is out of the picture early for this post plant.
Joak using dimensional drift to start to establish
Scouts out Yanto and the body block as well. Whoa. It's gorgeous from Coalesce, but Misu will fall, and that still makes this contentious here. The interceptor as well above needs to be shot down. Luca, wait a second, what is this? Oh, okay. Out comes the suck, but still, Joak is safe on the defuse. Waddles and Hayden together holding. Joak getting pushed by Bully, but it's Hayden to trade, and Luca, unfortunately, taking one step too far.
Very much so.
Maybe off the map.
Maybe, perhaps off the map, and I think that's kind of a sad way to end it, but fair play to Team Coalesce there, and it felt a bit scrambly from TSE, I can't lie, in terms of how they wanted to...
The plant angle was off.
Yeah, it was off.
Yeah, for sure. The suck may have been a valid option to be used the gravity well there. However, it was positioned in a way that the rest was covering, and that forced Bully to seriously overstep to shut it down. Otherwise, it was over. It was cooked. So well played from Bully to counteract that, but not the best take from Coalesce. The best take from TSE to plan that position. That being said, though, TSE with great ultimate economy here.
Yeah.
If they burn all these and lose, Coalesce are seriously on that comeback story here.
Very much so, and I think if you're TSE, you're going to have to be cautious about this as well. Yanto trying to take some shots here, and I'm not sure about the rest of the weaponry here from TSE, but it seems that they've gone for maybe sort of a low buying round here. Yanto still only having that Sheriff and SMG on Willie G, so maybe they're just looking to not waste these ultimates.
What's the play? Willie G with a single dash on the light speed, multiple scanned, but the spam does not land. Out comes the Hunter's Fury, out from Ianto, and Misu is caught along with one other. Joak also tagged. It is a slaughter for TSE, and with inferior weaponry to boot as well, it is a beautifully coordinated exec from TSE. Coalesce, simply none the wiser.
And I think if you're TSE, you're happy that you're only having to expend 2 of those ultimates. I think you maybe wanted to keep them all in pocket, but more than worth it from Sova there, expending that. Expending the Hunter's Fury there to get those 2 kills, get those 2 picks. And now Team Coalesce going for this timeout, wanting to stem some kind of bleeding, need to, it's do or die now. And I think it's not like they've been playing bad in this half, and I think I expected them to kind of start to crumble and fold, but they showed some really good resilience here. But as I said earlier, there is still a lot of groundwork to be made up for them. And now they can't afford a single misstep here. All it takes is someone from TSE, which can be any of their players, whether it be Luca, whether it be Ianto, whether it be Bully, to have a tear and just rip apart Coalesce, and they go 1 map down.
Yeah, King has trying to speak some sense into Coalesce, the coach. Initially coming in the last time they played for the first time as Aconite in the last Epic as a fill-in coach, not really expecting to stick around for long. Now, being that voice of reason and intel for this team, speaking some sense, helping them out, seeing a way out of this hole that TSE have dug for them. It is a scary ultimate difference still here. 1 ultimate off from Waddles having that null command, and you also have the Evolution and Astral Divide from both Bully and Luca. A very scary exec heavy ultimate economy, with Waddles grabbing a single orb or a kill, having an even bigger ultimate to use.
And that's
so
the thing
this is
as well.
frightening.
TSE with all the weaponry as well, now that they can purchase and afford. Looks like they just want to try and smash B and maybe get this done, get this across the line. Bully has already popped the evolution here and is looking to act as this entry, I suppose. Good teleport there, and Willie G planting slightly off of where we usually see the spike. And they've got this big divided curtain up, and now I think Coalesce need to scramble to try and do something here.
It's a 5v5 retake. Evolution in hand with 1 kill off of the null command. This is scary. They need to go 1 by 1, and Bully is taken early. A huge pick now. More numbers need to be done, though. 3 members spotted around Danger and 1 isolated on site. Willie G alone, needing to find ways to survive for the rest of his team to back him up. The light speed saves his skin, joins his team round from Danger, and it's just the gunfight. Gunfight's next up on the draw. Willie G on first, Misu with the next. It's a back and forth brawl, and it's Misu to back up the fight, but it's Ianto and Waddles to finish the job as TSE will win 13-7 on Abyss, starting off a stomp with a little bit of fire. Coalesce, thankfully at the very least, won't go down this map with a whimper, and they do still have 1 map there around.
I think, yeah, really good resilience there from Coalesce, but unfortunately not quite enough to see it over the line, not enough to see that comeback really manifest. And I think we all have to have another look back at that first half. Coalesce did not show enough to be competitive. TSE were just, to put it frankly, dog walking them all over the place. And it just, yeah, I feel bad for Coalesce, but at the same time, you've really got to step up your game if you want to try and be competitive with the TSE side. They look formidable.
Yeah, it's a matter of, the men teaching the boys what it's like to be men. It's one of those things, right? Coalesce still showed some great fire, though. There is definitely a possibility of that return coming back if they can keep that form and not let TSE run the floor in that first half. Second half buffs can only happen so often, right? So we'll have to hope that Coalesce on this next map will be able to bring things back, maybe make things a 3-game series. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. This match could be amazing in map 2. We'll see you guys after the break. Hello everyone, welcome back to EPIC46 VALORANT with Intel. TSE Coalesce, map number 1 goes pretty convincingly for Twisted Saints. It's been a strong showing from them, looking to cement themselves as the favourites to win this tournament. The Coalesce reigning champions, they've had a rough start, but they've looked good throughout the tournament. This is the time for them to bring things back. We're going to our mid-series map showing here. Haven, map number 2. 13-7 for TSE on Abyss. It was a really rough first half. That second half was where Coalesce did seem to start eking things out, winning about 5 rounds. But after that, TSE will manage to close things out. Haven, it's a different map. It's a different deal. It's 3 sites, but it's still very rotate heavy. Similar in essence to Abyss, where it can be go big or go home, go fast or go slow. It very much is that bipolar pacing of a map, where all of those sites can really impact you depending on how you choose your rotations and what agents you lock in as well. Yoru usually isn't the most picked agent, but Neon is a very, very common agent on this map. If not, she is probably the queen duelist, despite how many great duelists you could run on Haven. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see TSE and Coalesce both run the Neon. Both Misu and Will can play that Neon really, really well.
I think the key here for Team Coalesce is to not have a completely dreadful attacking half. Like they did in that first map. I think hopefully that tail end of the first map is going to give them a bit of a bump and be like, okay, maybe we can actually hit some shots, maybe we can actually do something here, maybe not make some silly mistakes that we did in the first half of Abyss and convert that over to Haven and make something work. And especially when you consider the comp that they had last time when they had 2 duelists, you'd expect them to do okay as an attacking team and really put some emphasis on enabling these two duelists to go and do legwork, really bring the fight to TSE. But we didn't. There was bark and no bite. There was just nothing there. There was no substantial backing from that attack. So I think we're both looking for some semblance of coordinated but aggressive and meaningful attacks from Team Coalesce to kind of help bring them back into the series.
Yeah, I think the goal of rocking that Yoru as a secondary duelist is not only to have a strong rotation agent that works on a maps like Abyss and Haven, but also just as a flash initiator counteract, right? Having such an incredible flash basically makes Yoru an initiator alongside a duelist, right? Although can be used as a duelist, is also very good at getting in, getting out, very good at rotating, but also just great flashes in general. And that's partly why you run initiators for mostly the flashes. So having that as an option works great. And Joak did a decent job, had good moments on that Yoru, and on top of that, was able to flesh out that aggressive power that we know him to be capable of, despite usually traditionally being a very lurky player, very slow-paced player who often likes to abuse timings when he's on that Viper or that Sentinel role. He is that type of player that we usually see, but when he's on Yoru, it's almost like he's unshackled a little bit and able to be a little bit more free, like a kid left to run alone on the playground kind of thing, right? But this time it could be different. Haven, I have to say, I'm really unsure of what these compositions will be. I think Haven is another one of those maps where you can change agents a lot, and there's a lot of variation for options here. If I was TSE, I'd be guessing they're probably going to be running a double duelist comp, maybe running something like the Yoru Neon or the Neon Waylay as a good option as well. It does depend on who wants to play what, because I think some players are very flexible there. Yeah. Will, although he's playing duelist currently, is also a known Sentinel player for the Twisted Saints VCL team, for example, right? One of quite a few examples. I think the only role that's really super exclusive, from my mind at least, is Ianto on Scan. Everything else is pretty swap, really. You can change things a lot. It's a very flexible team in terms of options for compositions. Coalesce, although you know them a lot for having those certain strict roles, some agents here and there can flick around. Like we said with Joak, Bobs as well is another person that likes to switch some agent roles here and there, depending on what kind of comp they want to run. So I'm curious, because I'm not too sure. If I was to guess, definitely going to be seeing Neon on both sides, definitely going to be seeing Sova on both sides. Killjoy or Cypher are very alternating. I believe Coalesce are more likely to run the Killjoy. For TSE, I'm not too sure. I think they might also run the Killjoy, but that's my prediction if I was to guess from remembering how they played in the past. But it looks like Team Coalesce are going to be going for the double controller control instead here, with Bubs and Joak rocking those 2 controllers when Miso on the solo Senti. So double controller plus Sentinel here. No flashes for Coalesce, assuming they lock those lineups here. For TSE, this is a very traditional comp. This is the box standard, always tried and true 2023-2024 composition with the double initiator, Breach Sova, Luca on that Omen, and you've got Killjoy, Neon. Usually Jet would be that other agent, but Neon is fantastic on Haven, has shown great proficiency, and it has been long-standing the queen of duelists here on a map like this. Misu insta-locking that Neon alongside the rest of TSE. There's Coalesce, probably debating a little bit more, maybe taking a bit of time to have some talks, but I think this comp is going to be locked in. A very defensive, interesting comp, a very map control heavy comp, and one thing that I found quite interesting is that the more map control, usually you would think that's defensive. No, it could be more so favored for attack. On top of that, that gives Joak loads of room to have a massive value with the util while still lurking. That wall can be placed whenever he wants, can be raised up whenever he wants, and he can just place it for his team if they want to exec on one site, while Joak just goes to God knows where else to find that great timing on the lurk. So that is part of the map control game that's going to be played here for Coalesce, and that is what matters on a map like Haven. It's going to be difficult a little bit here and there on those rotations, but some walls, some lineups, some timings could really work out for Joak.
So the big statement here is that both teams are rocking the exact same comp bar, like you said. You've got a Viper on for Team Coalesce, and you've got the Breach for TSE. Now, in previous games, we've talked about Breach, and with the recent patch notes and how perhaps they aren't necessarily as good as they once were. And so I'm wondering whether or not TSE have maybe got this down to a T and know exactly how they want to use this bridge, or is this just Waddles going onto a comfort pick for this specific map?
Waddles generally is quite comfortable running that Breach. He's also been used to playing Neon in tournaments before. He's also been used to playing many other roles like controller. So Waddles has been around for a while. He likes playing God knows whatever agents he wants to. I think he's probably one of the much more versatile players in this lobby, but that being said, with the engage coming in, first blood goes in favor of Ianto.
Now TSE
he's got another coming.
Miso finding one on Tianto and sort of rebalancing this map team, but I don't think they're aware of Bully. Bully finally gets one, a bit whiffy there, could have definitely got more, but they're chasing him down, and Miso removes Bully and is unhappy and wants to kind of show give him the business, but Willie G looking to take out Miso, and using that speed does indeed close him down, and now 2 on 3 in favor of TSE. Miso runs into the awaiting arms of Luca, who then collects up Hayden as well, and that's a good bit of attacking play from TSE in this pistol round to kind of give them an early lead.
Some smack being thrown out from both sides. I think Misu talking a little too soon. Granted, maybe worthy of being the one to talk the trash, but you haven't won just yet. Maybe it's best to wait for a moment. Regardless of that, though, 2 good kills from Misu, but not enough for the rest of the team to really do anything with it. 1-0 over TSE again.
No, but it seems that TSE may be wanting to line up for a big push on towards C as they leave the Killjoy towards the back of A site, perhaps anticipating some kind of late push coming through mid. But we'll have to wait and see as this round starts to progress, and it seems like a far more measured and slow approach, wanting to establish some kind of positioning around C and wanting to execute this plan perfectly. The Killjoy is the only one able to contest C here and doesn't seem to be doing anything. Bully waiting ever so patiently for this cross here as they want to do, and Bully can hear this stack coming up. An alarm bot is triggered, so Bully knows that he's going to have some visitors very, very, very soon.
Got multiple members here of Coalesce trying to catch out somebody, expecting Bully to potentially be in spawn lurking, checking that clear immediately. This time he's in that corner and he's spotted. A shoulder seen by Bubs. However, Ianto's got his back. Bully will grab one. Hayden will catch out Bully, so now that 1v2 swing a little too slow from Coalesce, and so TSE will make quick work.
I'm not sure if I enjoyed that. I feel it feels a very slow retake, and I got the method, but it didn't feel like they really established where Bully was, and I feel if you know Bully's there, then they probably know what you're doing, so it might be time to change tack, or you just got to rush and blitz Bully out of his position and just remove him as a factor before to allow your own Killjoy to come and do something from the top of C. But nevertheless, TSE showing the same kind of skill and dominance that they have done in the last map.
This time, looking to change things with spare weaponry in the hands of TSE. Joak and Miso looking to thwart this engage soon to come. if they so choose to commit to it. Seems like they're going to be backing away instead.
Wanting to measure up their options here, and I don't think they want to commit. Willie G though, he wants to commit to getting some kills and getting himself on the board here.
Damage is hugely the goal here for Willie G, but he won't get anything of it. He falls.
Caught out by the skilled hands of Joak, I believe, as the rest of TSE looking towards to go to A. Now that they have some inkling that Coalesce has been spread out and they want to leverage some kind of man advantage onto this A site here, Waddles the Pig, I don't think is aware of the player above him. Maybe he is indeed, I tell a lie. As that's 3 kills in quick succession for the tied TSE and putting the man count in their favour, doubling that of Team Coalesce.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You have to question Joak there for that decision to kind of jump into the waiting arms. Miso good for 1. But whether or not they can collect more, I am unsure. As Yanto very much has this lockdown. You've got guns from possibility of 3 ways here, and Yanto just keeping him suppressed and not letting him move.
Beautiful, beautiful shot there from Miso. Getting the time of the reload just right, but there's only so much he can do. He's got to do so much here, and TSE aren't giving him an inch. He's going to be saving. He's out.
I think you have to give that to him. Miso did excellent work there to go and get those 2 picks. But it was a very tricky position there for the side of Team Coalesce, and for Miso in particular, who did phenomenally well. I don't know, did Joak kind of just throw himself into the waiting arms of TSE a little bit?
I do think there was a reason for that play. It wasn't necessarily the play itself being bad, it was more the timing of the play.
Yeah.
Miso was way too far away, not able to really play around it, and Joak put himself in a compromising position which would have worked had Miso been ready there for the cross. But it didn't happen, and that led to what was the backfiring. It wasn't necessarily what he did, it was when he did it. It's a Neon Odin. We're seeing more ego. Oh god. Is this actually like a reasonable play that I'm just out of the loop here for? Because this is just insane. Willie G clearing out metal, and Odin in his hands. He's got the whole bit of metal and C on his chopping block here.
Really quick play from TSE here, and Willie G just laying down this fusillade of bullets as he claims 2 lives and is looking for more. Unideal when you run out of bullets, because I imagine it's a very long reload. Bianto is more than happy to clean up here. Maybe we are just unaware of Neon Odin play, and maybe it's tech. Maybe it's not ego. Maybe it's just tech.
Who knows? It really could be. We saw it before, and it somehow was working. I don't know how it does, but it does.
I can't remember who was doing it. Who was it? It wasn't TSE, was it? We were watching.
Not Enjoyer.
It was not Enjoyer.
Not Enjoyer, yeah.
That was it. So
made his enemies look allergic. Like, it was crazy.
But maybe we're the fools here, and I wonder whether or not TSE just want to keep this momentum going and go for maybe another fast play here. I'm not sure whether or not they want to or not, but Team Coalesce looking like they want to try and meet this aggression. Miso.
Oh, Miso. He's in trouble.
He
won't be stunned. A lot of users unleashed. Miso forced to fight, and he's gone. Does get 1 before he leaves, but the trade not necessarily ideal here for TSE, but still a trade nonetheless. 18 HP there from Willie G.
They're going to be forced to back off here, TSE, as they want to reassess their options here, especially with Willie G on such low health and perhaps not the most controllable weapon in the world. The rest of TSE moving up towards this B site and maybe looking to establish something here, removing utility. I don't know if they like what they see. I wonder what they want. I wonder what they're thinking, to be fair. Are they trying to bait and switch and go and be like, we're definitely going to go for B and just slow walk over back to A? You've got the Sova of TSE knocking up towards the A site, and perhaps they know for a long time that they've wanted to go that way anyway, and they wanted to try and fool Team Coalesce into thinking that they were going for B. And here comes the execute. Willie G running in, using those walls here to obscure their movement and looking for whatever kind of engagement here. And as bullets come laying down and the spike is getting planted, Coalesce now going to have to react in some way, shape or form.
I have to see. We're in the hands of Willie G, plant down. We've got Rolling Thunder in the possession as well for Waddles. Once this re-engage comes in, it needs to be quick and it needs to be efficient. Otherwise, this Rolling Thunder will overwhelm them. Scan on the recon dot does not clear anybody. Willie G still cooped up in hell, not taken accounted for. He will get caught. Despite the revealing of the dart, Miso still survives. And the Rolling Thunder is going to be thrown off of the tap, and this is going to sting. Time slowly ticking down, one by one they need to fall, and Hayden will answer the call. Bubs joins in too, and that's the round for Coalesce.
Really good play, I think, from Coalesce there. We did question whether or not that the breach utility was going to be worth it, and I think it worked temporarily. I'm not sure. Do you reckon they popped it maybe a touch too early?
No, I think honestly you
perfect?
could have done it. You could have done it later. You could have done it earlier. There's not really a way of knowing if you're going to get three-piece very quickly afterwards, right? That was really the issue that happened. Just losing the fights. Hayden stepping up. It's more credit to Coalesce than it is to criticize on TSE.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I was just more curious about the options here, but yeah, I think well played by Coalesce there to establish not allowing Willie G to get more than one kill from their sort of uninhibited position. But here he comes again.
Oh, we got checked. Spam. Oh my goodness, Willie G, come on. The disrespect is just all over his face, man.
I think we need to stop giving Willie G an LMG, because I think any other weapon there, that's an easy kill from TSE, and they're up 2 bodies. But now we find themselves in a position where they're 3 to 2.
Oh, Bubs almost caught off, and he's taken down by Bully. This has backfired massively for Coalesce. Honestly, I thought the round was going to be done, to be honest with you. After Jared got that pick, I thought it was done, but the plant from Waddles is down, and there's a close quarters combat with the shorty. Not enough.
Whiffed shot, I think, from Bully there, who otherwise up until that round had a really phenomenal go at it and helping to bring that man count into a manageable position there, just unable to connect with that shorty shotgun there. But fair play from Coalesce. They're getting rounds on the board. This is not as terrifyingly shocking as the first map was, which I think is good, and it's showing the resilience that we talked about is so important in a game like Valorant to keep Coalesce in this.
Yeah, I think you have to also pay attention to the amount of ultimates that they have at their disposal. Massive economy here in favor of Coalesce. You've got the Killjoy, Lockdown, you've got the Overdrive, Hunter's Fury. Plenty of utility that is usable here into this next round to essentially guarantee themselves that next round win. It's very much high hopes here for Coalesce. They've got a lot of help. They just don't want to mess it up, and that could be the pressure that breaks them.
TSE looking to establish their dominance early and not let these ultimates be the deciding factor here. Willie G finding that opening kill again, still rocking that Odin. I'm still not sold, but like we said, it seems to be working for them. They've got that kill, and now they've stalled their attack, and I suppose waiting to see what Coalesce want to do and how they want to react. You've got eyeballs onto B, and the remaining players of Coalesce wanting to sort of piece around and have a look. Misu maybe going hunting, maybe going fishing for someone, and does catch Waddles as they start to pull back. And even though they return fire, Misu is long gone from that position and is now looking for fresh in other waters as he re-establishes himself on C. Willie G pressing up towards, through this smoke potentially, Luca. And here we go with Willie G using this ultimate here, looking to find, but goes unchecked. Misu finding 2, looking for a third. Ianto and Luca trying to make up some kind of deficit here. Now it's 2 on 2. And they fake the plant, trying to bait out an early swing. No one goes biting, and Ianto gets this plant down onto the C site. And now it's all down to these sort of support players.
They've got
in
smokes.
a way.
They have a smoke. Miso with one smoke able to be used potentially here. Lockdown effectively guarantees the flush out. Luca confirming his position. Ianto waiting patiently for the Hunter's Fury to be unleashed. Both positions now confirmed, but Miso got caught. The Smokes player needs to live, and he does. Half from Miso. No way. You can't hold this on, surely. Luca down. Ianto, it's halved. Luca tagged. Ianto needs to find the right timing, but it's not going to happen for Miso. TSE will take the round, but it was looking very dire for a moment.
It was very washy there for a moment. I think I have to agree with you, but fortunate playing there from the players of Ianto and Bully, I believe it was, to keep that spike site secured, especially the damage from the Sova as well, helping to knock that health count into an advantageous position, and then keeping the extra arrows in stock to really extend that timer to a point where Coalesce didn't really have much choice.
Yeah, another timeout coming in from Coalesce, looking to fix things up, patch up some of the pace changes that TSE are making for them. Fortunately, a big use of that lockdown being taken out of the picture, making this a little bit a little bit more difficult than the retake, but that being said, you still got 4 ultimates, so let's not say it's that bad. The TSE have a lockdown of their own. Now, that is going to be able to be snuffed out by that Hunter's Fury, but do you really want to be using Hunter's Fury just for that? Hunter's Fury has been really good for just grabbing those picks. At this level, that's the kind of tactical height that we're seeing on Sova. And it's really amazing to see how much mastery has been added on this agent now that players are using Hunter's Furies offensively with a lot more risk into it, purely being able to just out-aim or use info to that use.
It's certainly, yeah, I think
it used to be one of those things where you would just use it if you were guaranteed a kill, or guaranteed a piece of util to be broken, or just for flushing pressure. But now, they use it very offensively, in a very precise way, and it's really awesome to see that Sova mechanic taken up to the next level.
Now here comes Willie G looking to kind of help break this mode. Misu's got their ultimate up and ready to try and pressure this push around. They're good for one, but
it's a sweep.
TSE don't really care that Misu had their ultimate up, and they just swing and find free. And now they have control of this A side and get the spike down. It's all into the hands of Joak and the Killjoy of Team Coalesce, and whether or not they can sit there and make something here. The Hunter's Fury to no effect. No Hunter Fury.
Lockdown for that, really? I'm very surprised they used the ultimate there. You were very unlikely to lose that run anyway. Such an incredibly powerful ult that could be game changing. Just run away like that is really interesting. But I'll scratch past that one. At least there's a way to guarantee themselves the round. Joak now just going to be saving, possibly saving the judge, and Miso definitely saving that judge. We'll have that definitely secured, but. It's a clean run for TSE. One down, easy plant, great sweep, just cleaving all of those members of Coalesce. Slightly caught off the position, making things a little problematic for them. And the massive swing trading engage from TSE was perfectly timed and executed.
And I think as well it's good from TSE that they've managed to sort of bait out that, maybe not even bait out, but just expunge that use of Misu's ultimate on Team Coalesce there. So now that's not in pocket. That's only 3 ults they now have to deal with. Albeit, like you said, them expending their own Killjoy ult, unideal, but a win's a win.
Yeah, for sure. Out comes the Viper's Pit from Joak to take full control of that C-long area. That's going to probably prompt TSE to consider their options once they find out exactly where that pit is. Still odds that it might be on A, could be on C. But it looks like B is going to be the option instead. They're not going to be worrying about anything like it.
Yeah, they're going to commit here. Willie G establishing themselves towards the back of this site, tucked around the wall here, and probably wanting to hold these angles here. We've got a 5-on-5 situation, so where is Team Coalesce going to start to focus and try and prize this sort of deadlock hold that TSE have established on the site of B? But I say that TSE are actively fighting these defenders as they come in. Hayden punishing Yanto